Hello and welcome to Bleed.
Don't tell me, tell them.
Hello and welcome to Bleed. This is the show about advertising and more.
Yeah.
With me, Ryan White. We've got Jacques Moodley in the house, as
What
always.
is the house anymore?
Yeah, we're actually toasted on Jan Smuts.
Shout out.
If I can recall the amount of times I was toasted on Jan Smuts. Hey! Let's not go there. We also have Bernice Poulin with us today.
Hi, Denise.
So let's start off with Jacques. He's a permanent art director, beat maker.
Oh, yeah?
What else are you?
I'm a dad. There's proof.
Okay, cool.
I'm a fan of toasted sandwiches.
Great.
And that's about it. That's all I got going on, really.
Fantastic. And then obviously me.
Yeah.
I am a freelance graphic designer. So in contrast to your permanent art directorness, I'm a freelance graphic designer. That's what I am.
Cool.
I'm not media trained, I'm not a DJ or anything. I just happen to be sitting here with you guys.
But you do play some sick jams every now and again.
Yeah, exactly. And today, our guest is Bernice Poulin. So, copywriter.
I think I might have called you Beatrice at some point.
Oh, really?
No,
I didn't even hear that.
That was in my mind. You look like Beatrice to me.
There's someone at my church who genuinely calls me the wrong name every single time. I don't know
Yeah,
what
exactly.
to do about it.
So Bernice is a copywriter,
I am.
a poet,
Sometimes, yeah.
a filmmaker,
Whoa!
and also an all-round awkward human being.
Yes. All the
You
time.
can confirm this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Did you read my Instagram bio?
No?
No? You just met me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, once again, in the company of two Piscearians, not the first time it's happened. Although Bernice does not believe in I'm just going to put that straight out there, zodiacs and things, she doesn't believe in it. It's just not the first time it's happened. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being in the company of people who are born in that Feb kind of area. So there we go. That's the introduction.
Cis male, move that Pisces like fish scale.
There we go. There we go.
Come on. I still got it.
You still got it.
Soul gets it, right?
Soul gets it.
Okay, so just a little bit of an introduction about what Bleed is. It's a show where we get a bunch of creative peeps in the house and we talk about things. It's not limited to advertising. It can be film, dance, poetry, writing, whatever. And that's what the show's about, and we're about to discuss things with Bernice.
Not Beatrice.
Yeah,
No.
she's the star of the show. So Bernice, the show is all about you. So where did it all begin for you growing up in terms of having creative outlets, and how did that manifest? Where did it take you?
So I think I remember where it began. I don't really know, right? Because I can't remember that much. But there's once when I was just hanging out with my mom, and for some reason I was just pondering why the sky was blue, and I wanted to write a story about why the sky was blue. And she was just like, okay, you're a little bit weird. So I guess that's where it kind of began. And then I've always had a cupboard full of writing. And it's just a bunch of really strange little things that I written down. And at school I was always into art. Yeah, just a collection of little artist things. And then I was at Crawford for my whole life, and then I moved to a dropout school in Greenwich. And Greenwich was a dropout school, and you could just literally, you could be whoever you wanted. So
A dropout school.
Yeah,
What is a dropout school?
So anyone who is kind of like strange or gets kicked out of their normal schools goes to Greenwich.
And you got kicked out of your normal school?
No, we didn't have enough money to pay for like school, so we went to the dropout school. And it was great.
That's cool. Where is it?
It was in Bryanston, I don't know what street, but there's a gym right by it.
Cool. And what was that kind of like, being in a dropout school?
It was great.
Yeah?
Because I was always like expected to be one sort of way, right, at the art of the school. And this place you're just free to be like a freak. And yeah, that's how I found my weirdness. And that's
You look at me because I'm...
No, because we've had this discussion before where it's like, for us, it's only once we got into art college, then that was the time where we felt at home, where it's like, oh wow, there's actually other people that are into like similar things. They dress kind of kooky, you know. So like, imagine having that experience like way before getting to art school, because we didn't know what art school was going to be like. We were used to, you know, first break at 10, second break at like 2, and then it's like you've just got double science and whatever. That was like our thing. It was very structured, and then you had to go to like swimming galas and all of this kind of stuff. Did you have any of these things at the dropout school?
No. I was literally late for the first period English every single day. Every single day. And I studied for my matric finals a month before. So where you have like nightmares about trigonometry. I don't have that.
I still do. It's always, that's my number one nightmare. I can dream about falling and all that kind of stuff. But it's, have I studied for this exam and it's about to happen? When that happens, I wake up in a cold sweat. Algebra, trigonometry, doesn't matter.
So this is like a
sine, cos, tan, and I'm like...
You guys both have this. I don't understand.
We said this, we're working advertising because you suck at maths, and it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what person advertising good maths. Maybe the account service, client service, account management, whatever they call themselves.
Exactly.
Key account managers.
Yeah.
I essentially did like grade 10 maths, so and then I stopped because it's a British syllabus, so it's weird. Anyway.
So just a question about key account management. If you have key account management, is there just like a not key account management? Is there just a account management that's kind of not key to the whole operation?
Or they work on the accounts that aren't key to the business.
Oh.
They're
really?
Superfluous now.
Okay. So you at this place, Greenwich, and what kind of like creative outlets did you have there? Was it the writing continue? Is that where you found your love for poetry?
I think the writing started a couple of years earlier at Crawford, so I had a really good teacher. Like that is a theme in everyone's life, right? We all had like a really good teacher that just loved us into the art form. So that happened a couple of years earlier. But the thing that flourished at Greenwich was art. So I was really good at art. I got good marks.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then.
So why don't you go into more of an art direction and design space? And writing was probably more rewarding.
Probably writing's was stronger. And also, you guys work a lot, like a whole lot more, right?
She said it here on this day. I don't know if I watch on me, whatever today is.
8th of May.
8th of May.
2021.
A writer has said that the art direction design was I think we know it, but nobody's ever admitted it.
The thing is, writers do a lot of the work up front, and then you guys have to you have the least amount of space to do the most. And I think that's why it's like you work the hardest.
We're at the end of the whole run.
Literally.
So you were going to say something about Raf?
Yeah,
Shout out to Raf.
Yeah. So he's my creative partner, and he literally will sleep at the office at the end of last little bit of our projects.
Is Raf homeless?
He's not. He's very homeless.
Nothing wrong with being homeless. Shout out to all our homeless viewers. Nothing wrong. But
speaking of, I don't know.
No, go ahead.
It's a right segue. I was actually hit on the head by a homeless lady while I was in London for the DNAB thing in Majuki. So
I've heard about that.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lady who hits people on the head, the homeless lady.
Yeah. So to sum this up, right? So you established a bit of a writing path, and then when you moved to Greenwich from where was it, Crawford, then you dabbled in a bit of art. So that was like painting, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So charcoal drawings. What are we talking?
Etching.
Etching.
Oh, that's proper art.
Sure.
So I never went into the etching.
Okay.
It's really fun. Have you ever printed before?
I printed once and I was like really shit at it. Everything was just a black mess. And I was like,
Etching. I love that smell of that lino. What is it?
Oh, I never did.
You did the carve the wood, right?
No,
you
so
did
I
the
did
metal.
The glass.
Oh, glass.
Yeah. Well, like perspex kind of.
I don't know. I never did that. We just had the wood, and I was like, this is too much work.
It looks fun. I'd love to do it one day.
Okay.
I've actually got a thing at home, but I just.
Okay. So the third question is then, how did you take all of what you had, accumulated and decide, hey, I want to study what?
So I wanted to study art.
Okay.
Or writing, and my mom was like, no. Like you can't really, I don't know, it's not as secure being like a full-time artist or a full-time writer. So my mom.
Recurring theme as well.
Yeah. So my mom's actually the one who was like, do advertising, which is a little bit strange, right? A mom telling you to go into advertising. I feel like most moms are like, run. It's not a real job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't actually want to get into advertising, but it seemed a bit more secure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was something that I looked at the options, I looked at film, I looked at all of these things, and I was like, wow, I'm left with advertising because it seems like an office job. I want to pay rent, I also want to move out, I want to do these things.
Art with an actual income.
Yes, I'd love to be an artist, but the phrase starving artist is there for a reason, And similarly with you? Oh, well, we know your story. AAA did some
AAA did
some mind games on you.
Yeah, they were like, you like drawing? I was like, yes. Do you want to get paid? I was like, yes. Do you want to get paid to draw? I was like, oh.
Do you want a Subaru Impreza?
I told you this. As we were driving, so it's going to get really loud. As we were driving, she's like, so what got you to advertising? I was like, Subaru Impreza. I was like, my lecturer at the time was like, you can have a Subaru in like third year of you working. I've been working for like 12, 13 years. I still don't have a Subaru. I've got a Kia. Shout out to Kia. No, it's not Rio, but I still want a Subaru. So it's all lies. You can't get a Subaru in advertising. We should like ECD.
Okay. So now you've made that decision, and now you're studying. So what's kind of cool is you already had this kind of art writing background, and you already were allowed to be kooky and like this creative person. So by the time you got to, where did you study?
Vega.
At Vega. So by the time you got to Vega, you were already acclimatized with this whole, hey, I'm a cool creative kind of vibe, right?
Yeah, except now there were like creatives everywhere.
Yeah.
Before it was just like a whole bunch of people who smoked too much weed. And now I was like, yay, there's a whole bunch of people who smoke weed and do creative things.
Yeah.
So yeah, different.
So it was rad. It was like a cool experience, like working with,
Loved it, yeah. So many interesting different people, and yeah. And I mean, when I got into advertising, I really loved it. I think when I found out a bit more about it, I was like, this is dope. This sounds like a place to be.
Okay, cool. Any other noteworthy stories about your time studying at Vega? Any kind of standout things? So, I'll tell you. So, like, the standout stories we've shared here before, from my point of view, we were working late on a pitch, and like, we were just like so tired. We had an accident. It was like hectic stuff.
You fell asleep the next day, right?
You fell asleep? Yeah. My mate fell asleep behind the wheel because we'd just been working on a campaign. Like crazy things like that. I think we discussed that on the first episode with Alex. And it's just like, nothing. With AAA, they kind of like prepared you. They kind of simulated an agency environment. And I think that was quite accurate. By the time I got into advertising, it was like,
I worked every night, like Sunday night, and shout out to my mom, because my mom helped me put a lot of projects together on a Sunday night for Monday morning. And nonsense things like I made a house out of clay because we watched Cat in the Hat, and we had to do like an art piece about Cat in the Hat. And my mom was sitting there with me at like fucking 2 in the morning on Monday making a Cat in the Hat house. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? I got like 4 A's.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I remember the one time we had to do a 3D portrait of ourselves. So I painted in gouache, like that kind of like pictogram style, very simplified style. Painted it on paper, cut that out, pasted it on glass, made a 3D cube, right? So it had wooden frames, obviously, as many sides as a cube. And I had to take this thing on the bus because obviously wasn't driving. So all the way from the south of Joburg on a bus. And then buses get busy sometimes. I've got this glass cube.
Of yourself.
Can break at any point. And then it's like, people, can I sit? And I'm like, no, but the glass cube is there.
You can see me sitting here.
Yeah.
Did they ask you to make it out of glass, or did you decide?
It was a decision that I made.
I would love to see it.
We had to do. I don't. I think I smashed it the very first opportunity I had.
Oh, intentionally? Not
like
you
out of anger.
Like,
no. So that's that. Yeah. So if there's no noteworthy stories that you'd like to
Yeah.
share, no, let's hear.
Okay, the one like silly one is I got to make like a Narnia wardrobe,
Yeah.
and my mom made like a little, because my mom's a seamstress and she makes like half of my clothes. She made like a little coat for a little human, and it's the cutest thing in the whole world. But yeah, I like kept that thing for like 3 years afterwards because I loved it so much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man. How big was the closet?
It was huge.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's a painted, varnish it. Oh, such a good project. Yeah. It's nice.
So all in all, you actually enjoyed your Vega time.
I love Vega.
Mhm.
I loved being sleep deprived. I loved the assignments. Like studying was everything, and I got the coolest like opportunities. Like I got to go to New York in second year, which was insane because I was So I was part of a really good scholarship group called Rockstart, and it was by this lady named Carissa Samuel. And does anyone know?
No.
Okay, so she was a really beautiful lady who just took us under her wing and taught us beyond advertising. So just like life skills and finance and all that stuff. She was amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
What is it? The thing was called Rockstart.
Rockstart, yeah. Yeah.
What we would have done to have a little bit of, like a heads up for, the financial struggles.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if I listened to the
Oh, okay.
financial, but we had. I know how to save.
Okay.
Just-
Well, you said we know. I mean, you sans medical aid, and that's what, I don't know if I could put your business in the street.
I don't think my editing needs to.
Okay, we'll edit that out. Yeah, saving. We're
Cool.
doing it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then there's other cool stuff, like again, like the London thing. Also, I got to go to London in third year. I got to go to the Lurries in third year as well, which is so fun. Like that was a total highlight because Durban and
I
yeah.
mean, you're comparing the Lurries to London. Like, Lurries was better.
It was completely different. So in London, I felt like I was the only one who could experience this thing. And then Durban, I was with a whole bunch of other students and they got to experience it with me. So it was like super fun. Both of them were great, obviously, but yeah.
Nice one.
It was a fun
Okay,
studying
cool.
experience.
Sweet. So the final question is, what was your first work experience like? So you're kind of like quite young in your career.
Yeah.
So how many years experience? Like around about 3 years?
Are we counting internships?
Oh yeah, you can count internship.
3.5.
3.5. Okay.
So first work experience, I interned at a little agency and it was alright.
It was alright.
It was fine.
Can you say which agency or would you rather
I would
not?
prefer not to. The man is so lovely and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah. Let's pretend like you're on a podcast and you wanted something like quite interesting to say. No, I'm just
Say
joking.
what
I'm
it
joking.
I can be more interested.
I'm just kidding.
Can I?
No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. No, that was obviously a rude joke on my behalf. Because I'm
But you know,
I'm
my
in a real
limits
picture.
are
Yo, somebody hasn't had their
no,
sandwich.
because I'm used to like ribbing you a little bit. Okay, so so any kind of like noteworthy kind of experiences in your advertising career. So some of the things that we've discussed on the show are kind of like a little bit PG. So I don't know if you know, but this happened to me. I don't want to recall the story of the vagina chicken.
What?
Yeah, that happened to us. Do you want to hear the story?
Chicken, yes.
So we were working at an agency. Well, I was, and there was a little bit of a lull in the office. And you know how people are sometimes touchy with the things that are in the fridge and whatever. And this person burst into the room holding a bag of rotisserie chicken and was like, "Who had a piece of my chicken? I can definitely see someone's had this." Like, when I opened it, it was like a Ziploc bag. I've seen someone's had a piece of my chicken. What's the deal? And so she just burst into the agency, into the studio, and then she was like, "I hope you enjoyed, whoever it was, I hope you enjoyed that piece of chicken because I rubbed it all over my vagina and I have syphilis and gonorrhea."
Huh.
Yeah.
But also we all know that didn't happen.
That happened to me and us, whoever was in the...
Yes, but she obviously didn't rub it anywhere.
No, she
because we
didn't.
wouldn't need- But that makes,
Yeah.
like logically that makes no
But
sense.
I'm just saying, to say that.
Yeah, no, it's intense.
Yeah. So it's those kind of stories where I'm like, does this happen in finance? If you're working in finance or at a law firm, do people behave in such a way, and what drives them to behave in such a way? It's like chicken and egg situation. Does the industry attract those kind of people, or are people like that because of the industry? You know, they're like, I'm here and it's just like kind of loose and everyone's like happy-go-lucky, cool, I can do whatever I want and infringe on people's, you know, I don't know, like personal space. So it's those kind of things. Has there anything, do you have friends that are in finance that say, hey, what's it like working in an ad agency? Do you guys just doodle all day? You know, that kind of stuff.
I think the biggest question I get, is it like Mad Men? It's like, no.
Does it feel like a stock standard job? And if does it really? So let's take it that way.
We're behind like guests all day.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not as like fun and exciting as they made it out to be in the pamphlet.
No.
It's a fucking desk job.
It is, but it's still like fun. We get to like create new things every day. But it's not like as crazy as other people paint it out to be.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do your friends like say, hey, like, what did you get up to this week? And then you'll be like, hey, I was on shoot, that kind of stuff. I think that's where.
Okay. Yeah. People think I'm cool because I get to do that stuff. Like they'll see my stories of like in studio and they're like, oh, you're so cool. I'm like, no. It took 6 months to create that, and now, like after several nights of just working, now it's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Which is
actually
nice.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best part is seeing your babies being born.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's I'm proud
Yeah.
of that.
It's really amazing.
Whereas I'm sure other people, when they do like a really sweet Excel, like fucking nail this Excel. Look at the spreadsheet.
A story.
Look at this pivot table. Have you ever seen such a sexy pivot table?
You've just got your laptop there with an Instagram story, and it's just an Excel spreadsheet.
Hey? Excel for life.
But I've
Okay.
seen people in account management get excited about spreadsheets.
They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay, so the question I will ask you, which is something that Jacques and I have discussed, is that it's interesting for us, and I know you work a bunch of late hours, you wake up early and you start working. Do you feel like it's warranted? Because it's kind of like when you're coming up with an idea or a line, there's no right line. You eventually arrive at it and it feels right, but you can always like craft, you know? So there's no stopping. And I think if you are at another place or another, you know, whether it's a law firm or you're on a project and it feels like there's progress being made. Okay, cool, we've litigated here, we've done this thing, we're making headway. And once the case is done, yes, they can reopen it later. But if you're working on a concept, it's like, when is it done? You know, sometimes we solve it in the first 3 hours and you'll end up going back to it. So is it about like burning all the bridges and saying this was the right bridge? How do you feel that process works for you?
Well, I can tell you when it's done. When account management says done. When traffic is like you're done.
You're on the time.
Yeah, you're on the time.
So what you're saying is, in essence, you can do anything for 3 days, and then when they say, cool, it's done, you'll be like, well, this is it. It's like you're spinning a wheel. I'm doing these ideas. Okay, time is up there. That's the one we're going for.
When I was in high school, our art teacher said that exact thing. She's like, an artist is never finished.
Yeah.
You just run out of time.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty true. Even like whether you're doing fine art or in your industry, like you can finesse, you can paint something with gouache for hours and hours and hours. At some point, you have to go, fuck it. I'm done now. I've run out of time or gears or energy for this thing. And now those people are kind of cams.
Yeah.
The managers go, you're done. Finish up.
But the issue I find with that is we're in an like infinite mindset. So we're in an infinite mindset where we have like finite kind of, because if you think about creativity, they teach you to have like infinite thinking, just like possibilities are endless. So you're in that mindset, but then you're trying to mix it with the business structure where it's like, oh, we need to make money off this, you know, creative mindset, this infinite mindset, which is a finite thing. Because at the end of the day, you need to build a client, you need to, you know, cash the check. Then I think there's a bit of friction there, because then it's like, oh, I need to be creative, but also in these constraints. How do you deal with that?
Sorry, I was listening. My brain just shut off a little bit.
I know this tapestry is beautiful. go ahead.
Think of your answer.
We'll carry on.
Yeah, still got lots
So
of.
time constraints, and then you were saying.
No, I'm just saying, like,
You were saying. I
I don't know.
don't know. You were saying something really important.
The tapestry is beautiful.
No.
No, I'm just.
Just coffee.
No. I was just saying, like, we've got this infinite mindset where it's like we're supposed to be out of the box, creative thinkers, possibilities are endless, as well as, you know, stay within these constraints. We've got budgets, we need timesheets, we need. So they're asking us to be like super creative, but they're also hindering us with this other thing. So which one is it? Are we meant to be just efficient workers? We pump it out, which is kind of like where I'm at in my career because I can justify it. It's like, cool, if I do X amount of banners and whatever, you guys are gonna make money. And if I do it in less hours, like you can charge more hours. You can say that it's done at that time because we know maybe some workers are a bit more efficient and quicker. So I'm making a profit. So that's how I've kind of like angled it.
I think it's like twofold, right? Like on one hand, I'm super grateful that we have deadlines because I would never finish anything because I'm just one of those people who literally will just stay on something forever and maybe not have it out in the world. So I like time frames. I like that. But at the same time, you can't clients, man. Like that's
Cool, say something.